Are the Raiders about to make a game-changing move? That's the burning question on every fan's mind today. A potential trade that could send their star wide receiver, Devonte Adams, to the San Francisco 49ers is making headlines across the league. Imagine the impact of losing one of the most reliable playmakers in the game. But what if the Raiders could gain a rising star in return? The whispers of this blockbuster deal have left fans shocked, divided, and wondering if this is the right move for the team. Stay tuned as we dive deep into this situation, uncovering the stakes for both the Raiders and the 49ers. But before we get into the details, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay on top of all the Raiders news. Now, let's get into it. Could this trade really reshape the future of the Las Vegas Raiders? Comment below with your thoughts, and let us know what you think about this potential trade. I have to admit, when I first heard about this potential trade, my initial reaction was sheer disbelief. The idea that the Las Vegas Raiders might be willing to part with Devonte Adams seemed impossible. After all, Adams has been one of the most consistent performers on the roster, a player who continues to deliver on the field, even as the team struggles to find its rhythm. But here we are, talking about a possible trade to the San Francisco 49ers, and it's not just a rumor. This story comes from one of the most respected insiders in the business. Mike Silver, a renowned NFL reporter, recently dropped a bombshell, suggesting that the Raiders are exploring the possibility of trading Adams in exchange for the 49ers' wide receiver, Brandon Aiyuk. For fans who follow the Raiders today, this news feels like a jolt, especially given the impact Adams has had since joining the team. But as shocking as this might seem, when you look deeper, there are reasons why this trade could make sense for both sides. The question we need to ask ourselves is simple. Does this trade benefit the Raiders? On one hand, they could gain a younger player with potential, but on the other hand, they might be giving up a proven superstar in Adams. The stakes are high, and the consequences of making the wrong move could define the future of the franchise. Let's talk about Devonte Adams. Since arriving in Las Vegas, Adams has been nothing short of spectacular. Despite the ups and downs of the team's performance, he has managed to rack up impressive stats. Over 100 receptions, more than 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns last season alone. These are not just numbers. They represent the kind of player who can elevate a team, someone you can count on in crucial moments. But Adams is turning 32 this December, and age can be a factor when teams are considering long-term plans. He also carries a hefty contract, costing $36.25 million annually for the next 2 seasons. That's a significant financial commitment, especially for a player in his 30s. For the 49ers, taking on that contract could pose some challenges. However, they have the flexibility to restructure it, offering them an opportunity to manage their salary cap more effectively. For the Raiders, the decision to trade Adams isn't just about money. It's about where the team is headed. Are they in a rebuilding phase? Or do they believe that Adams is the key to turning things around? These are questions the front office must answer before making such a monumental decision. The idea of letting Adams go certainly raises eyebrows, but there's a potential upside if they manage the deal correctly. Now, let's consider Brandon Aiyuk, the player potentially coming to the Raiders in exchange for Adams. At 25 years old, Aiyuk is significantly younger, and he has shown flashes of brilliance on the field. While his start to this season has been less than stellar, many still see Aiyuk as a player with tremendous upside. His youth makes him an attractive option for the Raiders, especially if they are thinking about building for the future. However, Aiyuk hasn't been without his issues. His inconsistency on the field has raised some concerns, and there have been reports of attitude problems, including a notable outburst during training camp. For a team like the Raiders, which values stability and discipline, these red flags are hard to ignore. The last thing they need is a player who could disrupt team chemistry. So, the question is, does Aiyuk's potential outweigh his problems? For the Raiders, taking a gamble on Aiyuk could either be a brilliant move or a costly mistake. On the surface, his youth and athleticism make him a good fit for a team looking to the future. But his unpredictable nature adds an element of risk. Is this a risk the Raiders are willing to take? The stakes for the Raiders couldn't be higher. Trading away Devonte Adams means losing one of the most reliable offensive weapons in the league. It's not just about stats. It's about leadership, experience, and the ability to change the outcome of a game. Adams has been a cornerstone for this franchise, and letting him go would be a huge gamble. On the flip side, if the Raiders do decide to trade Adams, they must consider what they'll get in return. Draft capital could be an option, but is that enough to compensate for losing a player of Adams' caliber? General Manager Dave Ziegler will have to weigh the potential benefits of gaining draft picks or younger talent against the immediate impact of losing a superstar. The Raiders' news today is filled with speculation, but one thing is clear. This decision could make or break the team's future. Will they stay the course with Adams, or will they take a chance on youth and rebuild around a new core? Only time will tell. So where does that leave us? The potential trade between the Raiders and 49ers raises a lot of questions, but ultimately, it comes down to what the Raiders value most. Do they prioritize immediate success with a veteran like Adams, or do they look ahead and bet on a younger, less proven player like Aiyuk? Either way, this decision will have lasting consequences. As a Raiders fan, I can understand why opinions are divided. Adams represents stability and production, while Aiyuk offers youth and potential. The front office has a tough decision to make, but one thing is certain. Fans will be watching closely to see how this unfolds. Before we wrap up, I want to hear your thoughts. Would you support a trade that sends Adams to the 49ers? Or do you believe the Raiders should hold on to their star receiver? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all the latest Raiders news.